Hello, friends, and welcome to Conversations with Abdul. I want to talk a little bit about the football game. Canada played Morocco in Houston, Texas, in the World Championship Football Game 2026. I am so proud of the Canadian team that did remarkably well in the whole tournament. And to have reached the final 16 is truly a first for Canada, and I cannot be prouder for the team. I want to talk a little bit about where I was born in Mombasa and how football was played in Mombasa, and how over the last 40, 50 years, football looks so different now the world over. When I was growing up in the 50s and 60s, we watched a lot of football. And all the players that played football were the local indigenous people of East Africa or Africa for that matter. I never been outside of East Africa before I came to Canada, so I cannot talk definitively about the other countries, but I'm pretty sure that every country had a large following of football fans. And football is a relatively cheap sport to get into. And the economics of the game or having a team play or allows the indigenous people, the local African people, who do not have the financial ability to buy equipment to play the sport of their choice. So they stuck to football because all you need is a ball and a couple of goalposts and a ground to play with your friends. But football became in Kenya, where I was born and where I grew up. We had different provinces in the country. There was a Coast province, there was a Nyanza province, there was a Central province, there was a Northern province, and every province had their own football team. And in every province, a city or a big town may have two or three football teams. And so I would go to a stadium, what we call a stadium there, and I would watch the top teams play each other. And some of the teams were called, one of the teams was called Liverpool. So there was an affiliation with, well, not an affiliation, but we recognized teams in England because Kenya was a British colony. And of course, every week, uh, uh, people who like to play pool, they played football pool, where they predicted the result of the first division Premier League, English League, and if they predicted some, some games that they were able to predict correctly, then there was a huge payout. But we never saw the level of football in Kenya that was being played in England. Now I can only talk about England because we knew there was other countries in Europe, but most of our education and most of our understanding and most of our commercial relationships was with England because Kenya was a British colony. So I grew up watching teams play um, province to province, or within the city there was a championship for the best football team in town, and they were really exciting. And then in 1979 I left Kenya. I was 31 years old. I don't think I went to see a football game in Kenya after I was 20. It just so happened that I was busy at work, and The stadium was not close to where I lived, and so I kind of lost touch with football. But I appreciated the game because we played a lot of it in school. We played inter-school football, and we also played field hockey. And the other thing we played was cricket. Now, cricket came from England. Maybe some might say, well, it came from India, but field hockey definitely came from India. And those were the major sports in Kenya. Of course, we don't have mountains full of snow or ice skating rinks, so that was something that was foreign to us. So when I arrived in Canada, 1979, there was this um, urge to bring football to Canada. But somehow, in between the time I left, I stopped watching football in Mombasa, and the time I arrived in Canada, that's about 20 years. Somehow the game was called soccer, and we all called it soccer. And what we called football was a game that North Americans picked up a ball with their hand and threw it with their hand to their partner. And they called it football. And that was a little mysterious to me. But then I was getting used to Canada. I was getting used to the culture. I was getting used to how sports were played. But soccer, what they called it at the time, was not that popular in North America. And there was this move to bring soccer to Canada. So cities in Canada started to dabble in soccer. And soon enough, it started to gain popularity. And over time, it came to be called football again. Now, don't know the dynamics of it. I was never ever immersed into it as deeply enough to kind of give a more educated uh, version now. So football came to Canada and North America. In the meantime, the African nations were playing better and better and better football. And so they were getting attracted by teams in England and Germany and France. And they were told, okay, we give you, a big paycheck if you come play for us. So that explains why when you see a team from England, play a football game, there's so many colored people playing for England and for France and for other countries as well. It's because locals that became experts at the game, and they played the game at that level, that they were now able to sell their skills in Europe. I guess to an extent you can say the same thing about baseball. How most baseball players are from Dominican Republic or outside of North America. So we have football here now that is gaining more and more uh, uh, favor with the fans. And I could not believe the number of people that showed up at local rec centers, at local sporting facilities that had set up a big screen TV and a lot of space for people to go watch the game. Now, this game that Canada played with Morocco was played this morning at 10 o'clock, Vancouver time. And when I saw the first period of that game, I was really excited because over the last week or two, I was told that Canada has, they will be overpowered by the Moroccans. The Moroccans is probably the best team from Africa. That's what I'm hearing. But the way Canadians played in the first period, it was just remarkable. They were on the offensive for almost the whole first half. And I'm really proud of the Canadian football players. I know by the time the next World FIFA World Championship comes around, some of the players that played for Canada today might not be young enough to play at the same level. But I'm glad that Canada in this tournament has shown the world that it is now matured. It's now playing this class of football that any world championship should see. So I thought I'd do a quick video and talk to you about football in Kenya and how it developed into soccer, and then soccer is back to football again. And I like the term football, the name of the game football. I don't know where soccer came from, but it is what it is. We are back to football. I love that game. I have had that game in my blood ever since I was growing up. So, my name is Abdul, and this is Conversations with Abdul. I hope you like this video. Please send me some comments if you know beyond what I just told you, because I don't know too much about the game really. And please like and subscribe to my channel so we can keep this conversation going. Thank you so much for your time. I will see you in my next video. You take care now. Bye bye.